where Prabhu has mentioned about we need to cover verse 19.5 and 19.6. 19.5. I couldn't attend the class yesterday, so I've just realized that I have to cover 19.5, but I've prepared for 19.6. But anyhow, we'll continue with 19.5. It'll be a bit impromptu, so let's see how that goes. And I'll also cover 19.6 as well, a bit of 19.6, because I got a couple of minutes to quickly read through, and they are quite related, so we can cover both of them together. So let's start with 19.5. अथो विहाहे यममूमं च लोकम् विमर्शितौ हे यतया पुरुषत् कृष्णाङ्गरीसेवमधिमान यमना उपाविशा उपाविशात् प्रयम् अमर्तनाद्यम्. Atho, thus, vihaya, giving up, imam, this, amumam, and the next, cha, also, lokam, planets, vimartisau, all of them being judged, heyataya, because of inferiority, purusat, herein before, krishnangari, the lotus feet of the Lord, Sri Krishna, sevam, transcendental loving service, adhimanya manaha, one who thinks of the greatest of all achievements, upavisat, sat down firmly, prayam, for fasting, Amartya Nadyam, on the bank of transcendental river, the Ganges or the Yamuna. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Maharaj Parikshit sat down firmly on the banks of the Ganges to concentrate his mind in Krishna consciousness, rejecting all other practices of self-realization, because transcendental loving service to Krishna is the greatest achievement, superseding all other methods. Purport. I'm just going to, because I'm covering two verses, I'll read the purport myself today. Purport. For a devotee like Maharaj Parikshit, none of the material planets, even the topmost Brahmaloka, is as desirable as Goloka Vrindavan, the abode of Lord Sri Krishna, the primeval Lord and the original personality of Godhead. This earth is one of the innumerable material planets within the universe, and there are innumerable universes also within the compass of the Mahat Tattva. The devotees are told by the Lord and his representatives, the spiritual masters or the acharyas, that not one of the planets within all the innumerable universes is suitable for residential purposes of a devotee. The devotee always desires to go back home, back to Godhead, just to become one of the associates of the Lord in the capacity of servitor, friend, parent, or conjugal lover of the Lord. Either one of the innumerable Vaikuntha planets in Goloka Vrindavan, the planets of Lord Sri Krishna. All these planets are eternally situated in the spiritual sky, the Paravyoma, which is on the other side of the causal ocean within the Mahatattva. Maharaj Parikshit was already aware of all of this information due to his accumulated piety and birth in a high family of devotees, Vaishnavas, and thus he was not at all interested in material planets. Modern scientists are very eager to reach the moon by material arrangement, but they cannot conceive of the highest planet of this universe. But a devotee like Maharaj Parikshit does not care a fig for the moon, or for that matter, any of the material planets. So when he was assured of his death on a fixed date, he became more determined in the transcendental loving service of the Lord by complete fasting on the banks of transcendental river Yamuna, which flows down by the capital of Hastinapur in the Delhi state. Both the Ganges and Yamuna are Amartya, transcendental rivers, and the Yamuna is still more sanctified for the following reasons. Okay, I'll read the second verse also now, and then we can discuss both of them together. Yavela Satri Tulasi Vimishra Krishnangari na Abhyadhikambunetri Punati lokam ubhayatra seshan kastam na seve tamarishamanaha. Yeah, The river which, why, always, Lasat, floating with, Sri Tulsi, Tulsi leaves, Vimishra, mixed, Krishnangari, the lotus feet of Lord Shri Krishna, Renu, dust, Abhyadika, auspicious, Ambu, water, Netri, that which is carrying, Punati, sanctifies, Lokan, planets, Ubhayatra, both the upper and lower, or inside and outside, Sa Ishan, along with Lord Shiva, Kaha, what else? Tam, that river, Na, does not, Seveta, worship, Marishyamanaha, one who is to die at any moment. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhakti Vedanta, Swami Srila Prabhupada, Prabhupada ki jai. The river by which the king sat to fast carries the most auspicious water, which is mixed with the dust of the lotus feet of the Lord and tulsi leaves. Therefore, the water sanctifies the three worlds, inside and outside, even sanctifies Lord Shiva and other demigods. Consequently, everyone who is destined to die must take shelter of this river. Maharaj Parikshit, just after receiving the news of his death, within 7 days, at once retired from family life and shifted himself to the sacred bank of Yamuna River. Generally, it is said that the king took shelter on the bank of the Ganges, but according to Srila Jiva Goswami, the king took shelter on the bank of Yamuna. Srila Jiva Goswami's statements appears to be more accurate because of the geographical situation. Maharaj Parikshit resided in his capital Hastinapur, situated near present Delhi, and the river Yamuna flows down past the city. Naturally, the king would take shelter of the river Yamuna because she was flowing past his palace door. And as far as sanctity is concerned, river Yamuna is more directly connected with Lord Krishna than Ganges. The Lord sanctified the river Yamuna from the beginning of his transcendental pastimes in this world. While his father Vasudeva was crossing the Yamuna with the baby Lord Krishna for a safe place at Gokula on the other side of the river from Mathura, the Lord fell down in the river, and by the dust of his lotus feet, the river at once became sanctified. It is especially mentioned herein that Maharaj Parikshit took shelter of that particular river which is beautifully flowing, carrying the dust of the lotus feet of Lord Krishna mixed with tulsi leaves. Lord Krishna's lotus feet are always besmeared with the tulsi leaves, and thus as soon as his lotus feet contact the water of the Ganges in Yamuna, the river become at once sanctified. The Lord, however, contacted river Yamuna more than the Ganges. According to Varaha Purana, as quoted by Srila Jiva Goswami, there is no difference between the water of the Ganges and the Yamuna. But when the water of Ganges is sanctified 100 times, it is called Yamuna. Similarly said in the scriptures that 1000 names of Lord Vishnu are equal to one name of Rama, and 3 names of Lord Rama are equal to one name of Krishna. Hare Krishna. Om Jnanathimrandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Gaura Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narotamam Devim Saraswatim Pyasam Tatodaya Mudire Nashtaprayesha Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttamaśloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistaki. Hare Krishna. So as mentioned earlier, we'll cover verses 5 and 6 today. So we're starting from Canto 1, Chapter 19, the appearance of Śukadeva Goswami. So in verse number 5, Prabhupada very clearly mentions in the purport that devotional service is far greater than anything else. That devotional service supersedes anything. So when we were reading this, the first thing that came to mind was, we just had the yoga festival. So when we do yoga, why we do yoga is to connect, is to prepare a body, is to balance, right? So if we give the example, I'd heard this example where we look at yoga as a ladder. For people who attended, you saw there was a ladder we kept outside one of the tents there, and it says this is the ladder of yoga. So when we do yoga, yoga is we start to try and balance, to climb something, right? So I'm giving an example here. And then comes sort of karma yoga. Some people think that karma yoga is the greatest because we are trying to work up that ladder of yoga by doing good deeds and sacrifices and so on. Then if we look at Jnana Yoga is we are trying just to understand the ladder itself, right? So the ladder that is there, we're just trying to understand what the ladder actually is, analyzing um, the structure, the philosophy behind it, and so on. But when we come to the highest ladder of yoga, the highest form of yoga, which is bhakti yoga, which is clearly mentioned in this purport, that bhakti, I'll just use the exact words. Um, it supersedes everything, if my memory serves me right. Because transcendental living is the greatest achievement, superseding all other methods, Prabhupada says. So it supersedes everything else. So when we're looking at bhakti, we're not trying to climb the ladder. I mean, I guess we can say somewhere I'd heard a while ago that Krishna actually comes down and picks you up through this ladder, right? To the platform of bhakti. That's why bhakti is so powerful, because if we are surrendered, if we are devoted to Krishna, we fully surrendered, like we're giving the example here. We're learning from Maharaj Parikshit's example, where he's fully surrendered, fully devoted. He's left everything, he's detached completely, and Krishna will come and pick you up. So the other thing that I sort of registered from this verse was also where we are trying to go after this. Right. So we don't want to go to Brahma Loka, which is the topmost planet on this in the material platform. We all want to go straight to Golok Vrindavan, nothing else. Right. All the other planets are of not, they're not desirable for us. So that's why we need to understand why we are practicing our bhakti. Right? We are practicing bhakti not to just go that one step higher. Our ultimate goal is to go back to Godhead, go back to Krishna. That is the ultimate goal, to serve Krishna eternally. Yeah, they say sometimes don't settle for less. So we should not also, as devotees, we should not also settle for less. Correct. Um, Another theme that I saw in the verse was Prabhupada also is, and let me read this so it refreshes my memory. Prabhupada is also comparing science with devotional wisdom, right? So he said Maharaj Parikshit was already aware of this information. Sorry, I think I'll just find that. Give me 1 second. Modern scientists are very eager to reach the moon by material arrangements, but they cannot conceive the highest planet of this universe. But a devotee like Maharaj Parikshit does not care a fig for the moon or for any matters of the material planets. So, uh, yes, so modern science is trying to reach the moon. We are trying to explore outer space. We are going, we want to know more and more about what's out there. But what we learn from scriptures is we forget often, especially in our such busy life, we are so distracted. There's so much information overload, absolutely. Marketing, I'm from the marketing field and I know the way people try to hook you is almost, I can say, unethical, not right, right? Especially for people like us, it's who are practicing bhakti yoga. It's just not right. So whilst the whole creation is trying to explore what's in outer space, we forget what is within us. you know so yes, science is important. As devotees, we don't condemn science or we don't criticize science, but we think that the science of self-realization is higher than any other science, right? So like that, Maharaj Parikshit, Prabhupada mentioned, is not interested in any of the heavenly planets. He is interested in something which is far greater, which is far beyond, which is going back to Godhead. And at the end, it says of this purport, it says, which continues very nicely into the next verse, which is both Ganges and the Yamuna are Amartya, transcendental rivers, and the Yamuna is still more sanctified for the following reasons, which sort of flows into the next verse. Don't mind the pun. Yes, so Yamuna, it says in the next verse, Prabhupada says, Yamuna is more sanctified than uh, than Ganga. So one might feel, okay, growing up, especially where I have grown up, we always have been worshipping Ganga, and now we're hearing very clearly here that why is that Yamuna is more sanctified. Why? Now, there is multiple ways we can approach this, but very simply, it's said here that 100 times when Ganga is sanctified, it becomes Yamuna. Now, it's a very important statement and very important for us to know this, because Ganga is the way, I think it was in Canto 5, where it says Ganga was sanctified by Vishnu's feet. She emerges from the toe when of Vamanadev. When she emerges from the toe when Vamanadev's form came, when he asked Bali Maharaj for three steps of land, and that's when from the causal ocean the few drops fell, which is basically river Ganga. But when we see Yamuna, River Yamuna, Mother Yamuna, she was touched by the Lord, by Lord Himself. There were so many pastimes that Lord Krishna had in Yamuna, right? Um, and one is clearly mentioned here, where Prabhupada says in the purport that when Vasudeva was trying to carry Krishna in the basket across Yamuna, there was a fierce storm. And while he was crossing, the water was rising up and up. And Yamuna also wanted to touch the Lord's feet. And to fulfill her desire also, baby Krishna fell into the waters. And that's how Yamuna also got sanctified. But I'm sure we've read the Krishna book, and we've heard in a lot of classes where there are so many pastimes, so many leelas that happen around Yamuna. Krishna was always playing by the banks of Yamuna with his coward friends. He was drinking water from there. They were wrestling, and do all the things that kids do, playing around there, having fruits by the banks and so on. Even the most famous pastime of Kaliya, where where River Yamuna was poisoned, and to save his friends and to kill the demon and to subdue Kaliya, not kill, I'm sorry, I beg your pardon, to subdue the serpent Kaliya, Krishna jumped in, and again he purified Yamuna like that. Even the most secret pastime, the most confidential, the most intimate pastime of Rasa Leela takes place by the Yamuna, in the moonlight groves of Yamuna, it says. So, Yamuna river like that, she becomes the sacred backdrop of the most confidential Leelas of the Lord as well. And that's why it is said that Yamuna is more sanctified, is more potent than Ganga, because not taking away that Ganga is not, but Yamuna is more personal, and that's what Krishna is all about, is being more personal. And you can see she has been a witness, she's been a servant, and she's been a devotee of the Lord like that. So one of the parallels we can draw from this is that a devotee, so Mother Yamuna becomes sanctified, right? River Yamuna becomes sanctified when Krishna's feet touch her, like that. In the same way, for ourselves also, we can become pure, we can become sanctified by the contact with the Lord, by the contact with His name. When we chant in the morning, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. When you hear about His stories, like we all are doing today, by associating with His pure devotees, by eating prasadam, which is offered to the Lord. So, like that, we can also draw parallels how Mother Yamuna is so potent, the river Yamuna is so potent. Like that, we can also become sanctified, so to speak, by associating with His names, by associating with His leelas, by associating with His devotees, by eating prasadam and so on. Yeah. Another thing that I wanted to sort of focus on is Krishna mentioned, Prabhupada mentions in the purport that Tulsi Maharani, about Tulsi Maharani, that Lord Krishna's feet were, he uses the word besmeared. He doesn't use the word smear, he uses the word besmeared. So this is very important. So let's just look at that as well. But before that, let's just look at Tulsi Maharani's role as well. In general, why is Tulsi Maharani so important? And then we can truly understand the full significance of why Prabhupada is mentioning Tulsi Maharani and why he mentions besmeared as well. So as we know, Tulsi Maharani is extremely dear to Lord Krishna. She is one of the pure devotees of the Lord in the form of a plant. As we all know, Krishna doesn't accept anything without Tulsi leaf, Tulsi leaf, right? So recently, I've started sort of helping with Abhishek whenever I can, whenever it's been possible for me. I've been helping with the Abhishek at various festivals, and you can see anything that we offer, and this anything that we offer, with it, with the milk, honey, water, ghee, everything has tulsi to purify the offerings that with what we're giving. Even there is tulsi garland. So without tulsi, really nothing happens. We see even in the verse, patram pushpam phalam toyam, we can see that anything offered with love. Yeah. So even a tulsi leaf alone pleases the Lord so much. So it said in the purport, wherever his feet go, tulsi follows. Right. So Krishna never walks without anywhere without tulsi because his feet are constantly besmeared, as Prabhupada says in the purpose, besmeared. Now, Prabhupada could have used the word or translated it as smeared. Why did he say besmeared? This is the first time, truth be told, I heard the word besmeared, and I looked a bit further into it. And besmeared means like it's in constant association. It's inseparable connection. It's just not about being physically present. So Tulsi Maharani is not just physically there on Lord's feet, but it is an inseparable part of Lord Krishna, like that. It's in constant association with Lord. So like that. So there is, his feet are always glorified, touched by tulsi, the sandalwood paste, and offering. So it signifies that Tulsi Maharani is fully surrendered to the Lord. So like that. Yeah. So there's a few things that I wanted to cover, but I think time is a bit short, so I'm going to skip through some of it. Yeah, so we can see that Tulsi Maharani, I just wanted to sort of finish at this, that we can say that Tulsi Maharani is at Lord's feet. So we are, by that, what are we trying to, what is Prabhupada trying to tell us? That we need to be fully devoted. We need to be fully humble, like Tulsi Maharani is, right? So an example is given, right? So at the end of this purport, it is said that just give me 1 second. Yeah. So at the end of the purport, it is said that in the scriptures, that 1,000 names of Vishnu are equal to one name of Rama, and 3 names of Lord Rama are equal to one name of Krishna. So when I was reading this, I was also a bit, I was thinking about it. What's the best way to present this? And one example came to mind was of light, heat, and fire. Right? Light, heat, and fire. They're all of them are the same thing, a very similar thing, but the potency is different, right? So Vishnu's name is like a flame, right? It gives heat, purifies, and brings spiritual upliftment, like that. But Rama is like a glowing fire. It gives more light, warmth, and it helps us invoke some deeper connections, right? And then we got Krishna, right? Who is like a blazing bonfire. We just, some of the youth, we just did some bonfire kirtan the other day, just to, it's school holidays. So some of the youth came together and we did bonfire, and we could see, those who were there, we could see that when we are close to the fire, the blazing fire, it's completely mesmerizing, right? It completely draws you in, like that, right? So that's what Krishna is. It's very personal, it's intimate. So that's the difference. So when we read this, we need to read it in this context. And similarly with Yamuna and Ganga, also the comparison is made. So I read somewhere online that it says, so it's like you can compare it between sunlight and moonlight. While sunlight is very, very important, it gives life, it purifies us, and so on. But Yamuna is then compared to like moonlight because it attracts, it's got its hidden beauty. It enchants at night as well, and so on. So we got about 5 minutes left. I wanted to spend some time on this, right? I like to spend time on the practical applications of these things of when we're reading this. So when we go back, we can meditate on this throughout the day. So we can see that Maharaj Parikshit here is setting a perfect example for us. Right? Uh, he was a king. He could do anything that he. So when he heard about his news, what would that he got 7 days to live? What would most of us do? Right? That's what was going through my head this morning. What was most of us do? Yeah, probably most of us would sort of work on ticking off our bucket list, or making sure our family is going to be okay. They're well provided. Give them all the passwords to everything, and so on and so forth. Right? We can keep on focusing on that. But no, Maharaj Parikshit completely surrendered. He was the king. He could have taken shelter of the best astrologers. He could have taken shelter of the best, yogis, or anyone he could have taken, or an army, to come and wait for the bird serpent. But he didn't do all of that. He completely surrendered. So like that, we also need to take shelter. We need to know that life is very fickle. Anything can happen at any time. So we need to take shelter in Krishna's holy names, right? We need to find spiritual association, like Maharaj Parikshit did here with Śukadeva Gosvāmī and all the other assembled devotees there, ready to hear Bhagavatam. Yeah. So like that, we need to be very, very important. So like that, we need to be focusing on all of this. So in closing, I wanted to say that uh, Yamuna Devi, Mother Yamuna, the river Yamuna, and Tulsi Maharani, both are considered as Bhakti Pradayani. They are givers of bhakti. Right? We say at the end of Tulsi prayers, at the end say Bhakti Pradayani Tulsi Maharani ki Jai, like that. And Srila Rupa Goswami in Yamuna Astakam also mentions about Bhakti Pradayani, that Yamuna Maharani, Yamuna, river Yamuna is Bhakti Pradayani. So I want to end with this, where we should picture Maharaj Parikshit, who is the emperor of the world. He's sitting by Yamuna. There's no distractions. He's completely focused. Just imagine, I mean, a person like me, I was thinking again this morning, that a person like me doesn't have that clarity. Just imagine the clarity. I know we are not Mahajans like Maharaj Parikshit, but just imagine the clarity that Maharaj Parikshit had, the surrender that Maharaj Parikshit had, the detachment that Maharaj Parikshit had, completely focused, completely focused. And what did he do? He was in constant association with river Yamuna there, because he was by the banks of river Yamuna. There were saintly people there, and most importantly, there was Krishna's glory being sung through Bhagavatam, through Śukadeva Goswami was narrating it. Right? So he was not afraid at all. He was completely peaceful. Right? So we need to develop this mood. We need to develop this attitude where we try and be as surrendered as we can. We have this clarity of thought that Krishna consciousness is the way to be. Krishna consciousness is where, as we said, it's a ladder, right? The bhakti is a ladder in the previous verse. Prabhupada says as a ladder, right? So we are at the topmost. We won't compromise. We won't settle for anything less other than going back home to Godhead. So like that, we need to pray to Yamuna, river Yamuna, to Tulsi Maharani, that may our hearts also be purified, like she was purified, like she was sanctified by Krishna's touch. Like that, we are also purified one day. So it's just gone 7. Yamuna Devi Maharani ki jai. Parikshit Maharaj ki jai. So is there any questions, comments, or corrections? Sorry, I was a bit out of my depth with, I was going impromptu with verse number 5. So if there are any questions, corrections with any of the things that I've mentioned, or any comments, please feel free to share. Hare Krishna. Okay, no problems. Thank you everyone for joining. Have a blissful Tuesday, and we'll see you all tomorrow. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.